All right, so we're starting just understanding the different functions of the organelles inside of a cell. These are called organelles because I want you guys to think of them as cell organs. Like we have organs inside of a whole human body. These are like the quote unquote organs inside of an individual cell, hence organelles, organ cells, cell organs. What in a city directs all the cell activity or all the activity inside the cell? I mean, inside the city. What inside a city controls everything? Jasmine? Well, like what controls everything? What makes all the rules in the city? The president or the government, right? You guys can all, it doesn't have to necessarily be like the examples I'm giving you, but for now, until you guys kind of get the grasp of what each part does, you can think of it this way and then be creative on your own. Like I had somebody make their Cell City project a rocket. So like mission control was their nucleus. So you see how they might have taken what I told them and kind of transformed it into something that was slightly more creative. DNA holds important information. So what in a city holds important information? Where do you go to get all your information? Lucas? A library. That's where all your, or you can think of like, if, a hall of records, right? Or a vault. It's, you know, just depending on what, however you want to design your city or your theme. Ribosomes, these build proteins. They build proteins. So some people in the past have thought of them as like a construction worker because they build things, right? Some people have thought about this as a chef because they make food and protein is food, right? So you can think of it either way. I'm gonna wait to write what's on the side until I get to something that's slightly lower because it'll help make you understand. And this is found in both. Most of these organelles are found in both except for a select few are only found in plants. That's what makes this different. All right, endoplasmic reticulum. How many of you have ever heard that word before? Okay, so again, these are new words, so it's like if we can relate them to something that we know, it makes it easier to understand what they do. We have two different kinds of endoplasmic reticulum. We have rough and we have smooth. If you look at the picture of the cell, go to the animal cell for me, the one that you guys have. If you guys look, and I'm just, if you look, see this right here? This is the rough endoplasmic reticulum. It's got these little bumpies on them. It's rough because it is literally rough. It's bumpy. It's bumpy. These little guys right here, the little bumpies, those are the ribosomes. So a rough endoplasmic reticulum is covered in ribosomes. It's covered in these little bumps. The smooth endoplasmic reticulum looks like a noodle, kind of just like this one does, right? Except it has no bumps. That's how we can tell the difference between them. All right, at least when we look at a cell. Yes. Well, we're not there yet. I want you to hold on to that. One thing at a time, honey, okay? So the rough is covered in ribosomes. That's what makes it bumpy. And this is where the proteins are made. This is where those proteins are made. So remember I said I was going to come back to the ribosomes? If if you think of as the ribosome as the chef, if you think the ribosome is like a chef because it builds or makes proteins, right? Like food, right? If you think about protein as food, what would the rough ER be considered? Yeah, so, but think about specifically, where do chefs work? Where do they make a kitchen, right? So it could either be considered like a restaurant or a kitchen. Or some people have thought about the ribosome as a construction worker instead, like somebody who builds things, right? So whichever one makes more sense in your brain. If you're thinking of it as a construction worker, then what would the rough ER be at that point? What would the rough ER be if it was a construction worker, was the ribosome? Where do construction workers work? A construction site. Does that make sense? If the ribosomes are the workers, they're the ones building the protein, then where do they work? At the restaurant, right? If they're the chef, then they're the restaurant. Do you see how they have to correlate though? You can't say it's a chef and then a construction site because they have to have the same purpose. They're both building proteins. Yes. We'll get to more I've got a lot of examples to show you, so it'll help clarify. So just right now, kind of process the jobs of each one of these, and then we'll start talking about the project. Smooth. How many of you have ever heard that song, Smooth Operator? Like, smooth operator, she's a smooth operator. No, nobody? All right. I don't know who it's by. No, it's so smooth. The smoothie R removes toxins and makes something called lipids. Lipids are like fats. Where do you go to remove toxins or bad things? Where do you go in a city if you're sick? Where do you go, Amelia? Therapy, okay? So it could be, she said therapy, so it could be your therapist. All right. Nobody's ever, in my 5 years, nobody's ever said that. I like that. It could be your therapist. Where else might you go? The doctor or the ER. So here's the reason I said ER. Because endoplasmic reticulum begins ER. Endoplasmic E, reticulum R. So it's a way, I always think of like a smooth operator, like the doctor, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Congratulations, your body is responding to stimuli and maintaining homeostasis. Have a nice trip. What's our third law? Absolutely, good job. Mitochondria. This one is the power source of the cell. And is in both because they all need energy. So this is the idea, like, what am I doing with my life? This is where something called ATP is made. ATP is energy for cells. What inside of a city gives us energy? A power plant. What else? Okay, a power plant inside of a whole city. Solar panels, I'm going to hold on to that. Solar panels, yes. Power lines. Wind turbines, okay. If you're Miss Burley, I'm a Dunkin' girl, but I'll say Starbucks just for the sake. Burley brand coffee, my tree, right? Coffees. Miss Burley's forest of coffee trees, right? That I'm gonna be when I die. I'm gonna grow into a coffee tree. Yes. Yeah. JEA. Somebody said JEA as well. Well, that's a power plant. Different cities have different companies. Like when I lived in Maryland, it was BGE. Here it's JEA, so different places have different ones. Again, this is on my website if you missed something. Force! All right, hold up. Can you ask me instead of just calling out? What's up? Yes. You can go 200. All right, so this is why I said save it for save the solar panel. It's okay. I'll let him go because I want to make sure we finish this. Absolutely. Chloroplasts are only in plants. Plant only. Plants only. What, bless you, what a chloroplast does is it uses sunlight to make food and energy for plants using photosynthesis. So the reason I said hold on to the solar panel idea, because the fact that it uses sunlight to make energy, a chloroplast could be like a solar panel. I've also had people think of it as a garden. Because gardens also use sunlight to make food, right? So again, you guys can kind of take it in whatever context makes it make sense, as long as you explain why. They both use sunlight to make energy. Okay, cool. Yep. A greenhouse. All of those would work. Golgi Apparatus. The Golgi Apparatus packages and distributes those proteins. So we said that the proteins, the ribosomes make the proteins. Who's going to package and deliver the proteins? Okay, it could be the post office, Amazon. I've even had somebody else say Grubhub. That's what I was looking for. So Uber Eats or Grubhub. Because if the chef is building the proteins, right? The ribosomes build the proteins and they build them in the rough ER, that's their restaurant. Well, the proteins have to get delivered, and who delivers them? The pizza delivery man or the Uber Eats, right? You can also say Amazon and post office, that would work too. That's fine. The idea of the packaging and distributing. Yes. Mitochondria. Yeah, but you have to tell me where it's coming from. I've even had people have hamsters running on wheels in their city, and that was their mitochondria. Like running on hamster wheels, making electricity, fine by me. Somebody else did, but like Bunnyville or whatever, and made bunnies run. As long as you're not enslaving populations. Okay. Yes. No, they did. One person made theirs out of clay, and they made a water wheel. I'll show you a video of that one. Another person, they just put like a bunny farm and a hamster wheel, and then explained it, like because they built it. You guys are required to build yours 3-dimensionally. I'll explain it. Golgi apparatus is both. We're almost there, y'all. You're doing great. And then we'll listen to our song, which I'm going to play on repeat while you work on your projects. All right. So, vesicle. This word to me sounds like vehicle. It sounds like vehicle. This transports protein, so it reminds me of a vehicle. So, like, what transports things? So a moving truck, a cab company. I've had people say a delivery man, a mailman, airplanes. Yep. That's fine. I've had somebody say a carrier pigeon. Fine. But listen, you have to be able to explain why. You can't just say mailman. You have to say a vesicle is like a moving truck because they both transport things around a city or stuff, right? You see how I'm explaining how they both do something? Just like in the movie you guys are going to be watching, Osmosis Jones, I could say veins are like the highways in a city because they both allow things to move around the body or a city. So you see I'm making that comparison. A stomach is like an airport because both accept arrivals and departures, right? So I'm using the functions of these specific parts of the body in the movie, right? For you guys, you're using the functions of what they do inside of a cell and comparing them on a smaller scale than the movie. But the movie will help give you ideas of how to take a big concept and compare it to something else. Vesicles are also found in both. Central vacuoles are only found in plants. And the reason they're only found in plants is because plants need a lot of water, right? These store water and food for plants. So what in a city stores water and food? A grocery store, a grocery store. Trey, a water tower. I guess you can say sewer, but the sewer would be waste. So I'm gonna hold off on that one because there's actually a better analogy for that. Yes. A silo, very good. A pantry. One person made theirs a school, and so they said cafeteria, right? So, but this is specifically for plants because plants need a lot of water. If you look at the plant cell on your screen, I mean on your paper, the large central vacuole is literally the big water in the middle because they need so much water. Someone in the past has said a pool. That works. And then our last one, yes, ma'am? Okay, that would work. I want you to write multiple examples though. Don't just write the ones you're planning on using. Write multiple so as we explain the project, if you decide to change your mind or your theme, you have some options. And then last but not least, the lysosome. A lysosome. Lysosome, what do you think? What do you remember it is, baby? I just put it on the screen, but what is it? I'm gonna say it recycles waste in a cell, and I'll say that defends the cell. So I've had a couple people say it could be what in a cell gets rid of the bad stuff. What gets, all right. So it could be, I've said, some people have said it's the police. What in a city recycles the waste? Remember bad stuff considered waste? Yeah, garbage man. So if you said garbage man, you'd have to say a lysosome is like a garbage man because they both recycle waste in a cell. If you said a police officer, you say because they both get rid of bad stuff inside of a cell. Do you see what I'm saying here? And this is in both. So do you see, these are just different ideas. You can't pick all of them, but when you guys do your project, and I'll show you some different themes of how people have adjusted it, you'll understand the way we're gonna approach this project. For now, your job is to just memorize what each of these are as their new words, and then as you're working on your project, it'll get easier because you're gonna be building it and working on it actively. Does everybody understand this? This, again, I just want to remind you, is on my website under Unit 5. So not a typed version, but you'll also see handwritten notes that I've done in the past with drawings, a nice organized version. I have the animal cells drawn. I have them typed up as well. And then I also have, this is a completely typed version of all of them. And then I'll explain these when we go over our project, okay? I need to play our cringy song first. Is it? Yes, go ahead. Body part count? Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes. No, because there is no background song. All right, so just remember all these are available on my website as a resource. And then this video that we just made is going to be on YouTube as well on my channel.